Good Tuesday morning to you all. How you doing? Well, it's another day here now, and I picked up a wheel, an idler wheel, from my local hardware store. Instead of being a hard plastic that the original one was, this is all metal and it's made for a John Deere, but the dimensions are the same. Okay, this is the wheel that I got from the hardware store. It's made for a John Deere. And it's metal, and I like that better. It comes with a bushing, I guess. I guess you'd drive the other one out, but the whole diameter seems to be the same. But I am going to try to measure this, and I'm going to open this package very carefully here in case I have to return it to the hardware store. Alright, without actually measuring it, this is a little higher than this. By feeling it, not even, maybe 1/8 of an inch, if even that. I don't think that would be the problem. The diameter is approximately the same. As you're looking at the good part of the black plastic wheel, it appears that the height is about the same. The main thing is it's got to make very sure that it's not gonna hit on anything or rub on anything in any way at all. I think it would probably work, but we're going to check the diameter of the hole here. Didn't bring my damn reading glasses. Okay, I think we're on inches. .48 inches. Let's see. .45 inches. There's no telling how accurate how much burrs this might have in it too. .46 inches. .47. Alright. Now let's see if I can get a diameter of the inside, and I can't with the flatness of it. I'm not going to be able to. I could probably do it right from here. Right on the good spot here. I don't know if I'm in camera or not. See, there's a good area right here. So if I measure in this area, I'm getting damn mosquitoes already. I got enough problems with this damn poison ivy. .69 inches. .73 inches. Okay. Alright, let's see what we got this way. .24. .34. In the middle here, in the center. 3.35. 3.24. So little difference. I think this will work. Now, with these calipers, I can't measure, because of this lip here, I can't measure the height of this. See? Not with these calipers. I would need something longer to come out and then have two little hooks like this to go in there. And the reason I wanted to do that is because when you put this on the shaft, there's a lock nut that goes down on the shaft and it goes up against this. This has got a bearing in it, a sealed ball bearing in it. This supposedly had a bearing, but it's frozen. It moves about 1/8 of an inch and it just locks up. So the lock nut goes against this metal part in this plastic gear. Well, that's the same here. The question is the height of this center portion the same as this? This is an insert you're supposed to be able to, in case you have a different size shaft, you're supposed to be able to put it in and drive the other one out. Why it's made like this, I don't know. What I'm going to probably end up doing, I could measure this, but that's not going to, the height of this, but that's not going to do anything because I still don't know the height of this. So basically what I am going to have to do is mount it and see how she does. See that when I tighten the nut down on this, will this spin freely? And will it flop on the spindle? Will it be end play? Probably wouldn't matter if there is or not. So we actually have to try that. So I got to get my work clothes on, and I'll join you when I'm all dirty. We're going to put this on the shaft of the idler pulley. Whether it needs it or not, I don't know. This was one of the items I recovered from the cellar of the old house we had the workshop in. Okay, now we got to get this mowing deck out of the way here, so I have some room to work under there. Man, I hate those big black ants. I don't think that stuff works. That Spectricide, I don't think that stuff works at all. I gotta sweep a little bit underneath there. I'll do that off camera so I can have a clean place to lay. I'll put the cardboard down. Now before I put the lubricator plate on the spindle and get this messed up, we're gonna dry fit it, put the nut on it, and see how she spins and fits in there. So if I have to return this, I don't want to bring it in dirty. So we're going to do that now. Alright, I got the wheel on there and I snugged the nut down. It's a lock nut type of thing is what they call it. And apparently it doesn't spin on the shaft, it just uses the bearing that's made on this. But here I got a belt keeper over here, so it's impossible to get the belt in there. So when I put the new belt in, and I have to run the new belt and take the wheel off, put the belt on, and then slide the whole thing back up in there and then tighten this up. But I'm going to look at the book again. It doesn't say anything about taking this wheel off. But see, this thing is right up against there. You can't get, there's a belt stop right here. And it's right up against there, so you can't get the belt in there. I can't even get the old belt in there. So this wheel has to come off, put that wheel on, put the belt in the groove here, and then put the wheel on. That's the only way you're going to be able to do that. So I think I'll put a little bit of this on the shaft anyways. Although the shaft wasn't rusty, so it may not need it. Yesterday, after I did my video, the part 1, I went to loosen these belt keepers, and I was able to loosen from the top using a 1/2 inch 6-point socket and going right here and loosening this one and right here loosening this one. So now they're both loose, so that I'll be able to get the belt off of the big pulley on the back here. This is the back of the tractor, as you obviously know. Now on the front, you've got the belt keepers here, but like I said before, it's rounding off. It felt like it was rounding off. Well, this whole plate comes out. There's 2 bolts here. I don't know if I can get that. A lot of crap in there. I think I'm going to try to take this plate off, which this comes out at the same time, and then I could probably loosen these from the top like I did at the rear, and then once they're loosened, then I'll be able to snug them up into here. I'm going to try to take this plate off. I'm going to do that off camera. We'll take these 1/2-inch bolts out, but we're just going to loosen them now. I just want to see. This will take that whole piece out of there with the things on them, and we'll go on the other side and loosen them and see where I'm at. Okay, we're gonna try to loosen these 2 on. They're in there pretty good. Of course, I don't have only a 3/8 inch. Don't have much leverage here. We're gonna do that off camera, and we'll see if we can get this whole piece out of here, which contains these rods, and then I can loosen them. If the whole thing comes down, I can loosen them, and I could probably get the top belt, the drive belt, in and out easier with that thing off. And once it's in there, then I put it up, and then when I put the mower deck belt back on, these will already be loosened. Then I'll be able to tighten them up with the nut up at the top there. That's the method to my madness. All right, it's very greasy, and I'm getting my camera all greasy. I'm just gonna remove the end bolt here, and the other one down the other end. I'll do that off camera. Drop this down. This has got about 1 inch of grease and dirt on top from the oil leak and everything else. So we'll take this down, and this will be a lot easier to put the belts on. And not only that, I don't know if I can. My intention is maybe to loosen the engine bolts that are mounted under here, and maybe jack the engine up enough so that I can see these bolts here, to try to tighten up. There's one here, one here, and one here, to try to tighten up the sump. Here's the sump, here's the seam. It's not leaking on this side, it's leaking on the other, and I was only able to get like these and a couple over here. Say like this one I could get. There was one back here I couldn't get, so I figure maybe if I got the engine up, because the engine's not loose on the base of the mower, not on the mower base. It gets loose, and there's the seam here, the sump between the sump and the engine. I don't want to pull this engine out, but if I can just loosen it up and raise it up and maybe put a couple of blocks under there, and then I might be able to tighten. Well, here's one right here, see, and it's accessible maybe from underneath. I don't know. When I get this plate out here, I might be able to see better. All right, what a filthy thing this is. All right, well, this is what these are the belt keepers for the main drive belt. There's about maybe 3/8 of an inch or so, not even a 1/2 inch, between the clearance of the top of these to the mowing deck, I guess you call it. All right, so I gotta clean this. All right, here's the nuts here that I tried to loosen, and I didn't want to strip out or round off these nuts. I couldn't move them without damaging them. So on the rear, I did it from the top from the compartment where the battery is. So I loosened them from the top, and I left them loose so that when I'm done installing the belt, then I can just go and tighten the bottom nut. That should be okay. I gotta clean this filthy thing up, and then I can, what I can do is just break loose these. I'll leave these alone. Let's say, no, wait a minute, this goes this way. The shorter ones are for the main drive belt. Those I'm going to leave alone, and after I clean this up, and when I get the main drive belt in, I can put this up there like that, put it back. Alright, I cleaned it up so it looks like something now. Okay, so this goes up this way. The shorter ones, as I said, are for the motion belt, the main drive belt. So I don't have to mess around with loosening these, because I'll get the belt and I'll just push this up into place. But I do have to break these free so that I can do something with them. I'll do that off camera.
Underneath the engine here, I started cleaning it with the cloth over on that side, and I got to do all this. And then maybe I can get at some of the bolts that are inaccessible
without rounding off the nut. Okay, say that is a lot easier. And okay, would never be able to do that from underside. Now, when you go to put these back on, use an end wrench, because I doubt you can get a box wrench in there. Might be able to. There's enough clearance between the pulley, the belt, and everything in order to tighten it. You certainly don't want to tighten it and then can't get your box wrench out.
Alright, I cleaned it and then sprayed it with carburetor cleaner, and I'm going to check the 4 bolts for the mounting of the engine. I don't think they're loose at all, and I have a feeling that I'm going to have to do what I don't want to do, and that's to take the bolts out and raise the engine up. But I'm going to first put a wrench on all 4 of them nuts. You can see one over here. There's one here. I can't see it. The camera might be able to. One here, and then there's total of 4 engine bolts here. But these 2 here can be accessible from the top. That's not a problem. And it's aluminum, so you got to be careful you don't crank down on them hard. There's no leak here. It's just the other side. If you look here, there's one right there where my flashlight is moving. There's one right here. Those are the ones that keep loosening up. There don't seem to be any more here, but there is one right here. You can't see it. It might be accessible from underneath. I'm not sure. Nope, I don't feel it. So I don't know whether this is... Alright. So there is apparently something here. Maybe not. I don't know, but I do know I wasn't able to get these tight enough, and it leaks. But the engine bolts, here's one here and one here. I'm going to make sure that those are good and tight. And I don't think they're loose, but I will check those out and see from there. Okay, these are the bolts that I had problems with. They're still tight, 1/2 inch, but I really can't get in there good to tighten them. I checked all 4 of these engine mounts. They're 9/16, and they're tight as hell. So the problem was here, but it don't seem to be leaking out of here. It seems to be leaking not out of here. One of my viewers said it could be leaking out of here with the seal, but it's not. It's leaking up under here, because I cleaned all this out, and it's leaking a little bit, even though the engine's not running. But I got to try to get in and get these 3 bolts. One way over here. I don't know if I'm in camera or not. Way over here, one in the middle, and here. The one in the middle, I don't doubt I could get. I got to try several different half-inch boxer inches. I'll do that off camera and see if I can get that tightened up. Otherwise, you know, if the engine's not loose, I'm not going to worry about it, because if this bottom plate loosens up, which what happened years ago, it was knocking, and what happened was the engine was banging against the, you know, it was loose here. So these were all loose, and I just siliconed it. Well, it doesn't seem to be leaking here anymore, but it's leaking in this area here. But it's not leaking from the drain. I put a brass plug in there. It's a lot easier to get out years ago. It seems to be leaking up in through here, but not from the O-ring. Not from the O-ring at all. So I'm going to try to tighten these up more. I put the wrench on here and I couldn't get any more tightness out of this. So this is tight. They may still be all tight because it hasn't been leaking out of here, like I said. All right. This is tight. This was the one I could never get at. I got that tight. This is tight. It doesn't move anymore, and these are tight. So I'm not going to lift this engine up. It's too big of a job. I'm not going to fart around with that. I disconnect everything. I'm not going to do that. I did notice this. I think the muffler's a little loose. So this damn hood is in the way here. I think you take the pin out of there. I'm not sure. I never had this hood off. It's got a clip pin in there. Oh, I'll try to do that off camera. But let's see if I can take the shield. The shield is not loose, but the muffler appears to be a little loose. I hope it's not a Torx, because I don't have a Torx. I have the real small ones, but I don't have any Torx that'll fit that, so well, time will tell. We'll take it off and we'll look. So I cleaned it up as much as I could. I'm going to put some lubriplate in here, that weight grease,